All right, guys, so this is gonna be a kind of cheap breakfast scramble that you can do. I'm using pork belly instead of bacon because it's kind of hard to find bacon that's not cured with any sugar. And this is usually sometimes a little bit cheaper as well, so I think it's pretty tasty. So I usually add some coarse salt to it. I've preheated the oven to 400. I'm just gonna go in there for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'll flip halfway through. Some of the other ingredients that we're going to use, I use simply potatoes. They're fresh, they're not frozen. You can get them. You can get them at Publix. They're usually on sale like twice a month, so I highly recommend those. I'm doing the diced potatoes with onions. Sometimes they'll do like a steak seasoning one. It's up to you. And then eggs. And if you want to add any veggies to it, you can. I'm going to have some other videos out about that. We'll get to that in a second. All right, now you don't need to use these simply potatoes. You could use just regular diced potatoes, but I think that these are a little bit easier and you don't have to prep as much. So just do an eyeful. I go salt first. Add pepper a little bit later once they're a little bit more cooked. And some olive oil. I've got this pan on medium to high heat, so like a 6 for most stove tops. And we're gonna give that about 15-ish minutes, 10-ish minutes, depending on how long it takes for it to get nice and crispy and golden. All right, now what I'm gonna do is take the pork belly out of the oven, and we're gonna sear a couple pieces in here with the pan with the potatoes, so we can get some pork grease in there. The oven's gonna cook most of it. And then what I want to do with the oven is sear them so they're nice and crispy. And they're 3 pieces. Give it a couple minutes on each side. This pork belly is almost done. I flipped them. You can see that they've got a nice good golden color on them. And that's what you're gonna want. We're gonna wait for it to get that on the other side. I'm gonna flip these potatoes. These potatoes ideally should have the same color. Oh yeah. Potatoes probably need a little bit longer. And the last thing I season them up with is some pepper. I don't like to do that beforehand because I've heard that pepper kind of burns quicker. So I don't do that right off the bat. I don't actually know if that's true or not, but whatever. All right, now that the pork belly is done, we're gonna go ahead and take it, place it on top of the potatoes, kind of help finish cooking the potatoes that are on top, as well as let some of this grease that's on top dry out and steam off, and we're gonna flip it a little bit too. And that helps keep it crispy and not too greasy. Done. Pull them off the pan. And we want to let the pan cool down a little bit, so I'll turn the stovetop heat down as well before we get the eggs in there. Just a little too much grease. Take all this extra grease and kind of, you can either dump it out or save it for later if you want. I'm going to get rid of it for right now. So letting that pan cool off. I've got scrambled eggs here. And you can use different eggs if you want to keep this not so monotonous if you're eating this pretty often. I prefer scrambled for the most part. Give it olive oil. Now with scrambled eggs, the biggest key is to not let them stop moving around. especially if your pan is pretty hot. You want to keep them moving pretty consistent, otherwise they're going to start to burn. Then always remove them a little bit early because they will still continue to cook while they are on the plate. Alright guys, and done. Pork belly, eggs, potatoes. You can add some salsa or hot sauces or maybe a little bit of cheese to it, however you want to do to continue mixing it up and keeping it consistent. Enjoy.